time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Friday version of the Patrick Johnson Show. TGIF, Friday, we made it. It is the Get You to the Weekend Football Friday Feel Good edition of the PJ Show. All right, Patrick Johnson, Philip the Rep Pilkington, on air, 94.3 The Game, online, 94.3thegame.com, on your mobile device, the IBX Media app. We've got ECU and Coastal Carolina tomorrow night, 7:30 kickoff from Conway. Is that a plus game, Pilk?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a weird kickoff time for a plus game, but I guess that's what the people down in Conway wanted.
Another question I have for you that I'm guessing it's going to be local talent on the plus game. They, unlike the American who assigns ESPN announcers, I don't think the Fun Belt does that. So you're probably going to get, I'm just going to go ahead and warn you, you're going to get some slant because you're going to have Rasco and Enos from Myrtle Beach calling the game. So
Homers.
just know that. What's that?
Homers.
Yeah, I mean, you might have it's just kind of the way it is, you know? So just know that going in. And here's what I would do. Turn down the sound and listen to 107.9. You can pick that up virtually anywhere. And or the IBX Media app or 94.3 The Game, and you can listen to Zoke and Andrew Bays.
Sounds like a lot better broadcast to me.
That is the shame about some of these lower levels. And if I may, so there's two things. If you're going to be ESPN and assign it, be ESPN and assign these things. Even for something like the Sun Belt or Conference USA. But if you're going to let, the American has chosen not to let local announcers do it, although local announcers do all the other sports, i.e. me doing basketball and women's basketball and volleyball and baseball and softball. So for me personally, it kind of stinks because then I don't get a shot on the football. So, but one day that may change one way or the other.
I think you're just going to make it big time, Patrick. I don't think the American's going to change. I just think they're going to start assigning you.
Hopefully. The football game tonight you can hear me on is J.H. Rose at Havelock. Who thought these two teams would have had one win between them? Brian North from the Blitz and News Channel 12 will be on in just a few minutes with us. J.H. Rose football on 94.3 The Game is presented by Kimbrell's Home Furnishings and the law office of C. Scott Kirk. Rose football is also brought to you in part by Discount Auto Inc. on Memorial Boulevard, First Bank, Sam Pollard Heating and Air, Tidal Wave Car Wash. Love that place. Stadium Sports, big shout out there. Car Mart of Greenville and Memorial Park Apartments on Arlington Boulevard. Pirate Game Day Countdown tomorrow, 4 o'clock the airtime on 94.3 The Game. And we're going to have myself and Joseph A. Football. Joey Football, Joe Sampson on the program tomorrow. We'll hear from Stephen Igo in Conway. We'll hear from Andrew Bays. Pill, could you just confirm with Zoke that we'll get up with him at some point?
Making me work on my day off, Patrick, tomorrow.
It's not a day off tomorrow. Just do it today, and then you don't have to do it on your day off tomorrow.
I know. I will. Yeah, I'll text Zoke.
Okay. And then Pilk has actually worked very hard to put something together. Many of you may remember the last Pirate football game that Jeff Charles, the late Jeff Charles, called was the Birmingham Bowl against Coastal Carolina. So Pilk has put together kind of a look back at that last matchup between the two. And so we'll get tomorrow to hear some Jeff Charles cuts and calls of that, courtesy of the ECU Sports Network. And I think that's a great thing. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad we get to look back. Unfortunately, it's going to be sad to listen back, I think, in a way. It was kind of sad to put it together. But then also, I kind of had to flip it and think of all the memories that he brought myself and everyone here in Eastern North Carolina and all Pirate Nation. And also, it was the final football game for one Joey football. So you guys can have a reminiscence. And it was when Joe was told, get in there and earn your letter. So he earned his letter that day, and you guys can have fun. A little segment there talking about that experience that Joe got to enjoy there in his final game.
You don't say You didn't say final game of Holton Ahlers, which it was.
It was that too.
But Joey football, and I like that better. Joey football, baby, on the public airwaves. So I'm looking forward to being with Joe tomorrow, and looking forward to the game tomorrow night between East Carolina and Coastal. In fact, let's talk about that now as we get underway with our top 5 here on the PJ Show.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Who's producing tomorrow? Kasulki?
The pregame show, Kasulki, yeah.
I think we're going to lose.
No, Dom.
Dang it,
Come on.
Dom.
Let me get my top 5 list out here in front of me so I'm on the same sheet of music with you. Here we go.
Number one, as we've been talking about, the Pirates will travel down to Conway, South Carolina tomorrow to take on the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. Earlier this week, head coach Blake Harrell talked about what he thinks his team needs to clean up heading into Saturday's contest against the Chanticleers.
All in all, I think those were some good things that we did on Saturday. Obviously, I told our football team just a few minutes ago at practice, we got to go attack this week with the same urgency. I said, if we don't get any better, we're in trouble. We got a long ways to go. Some of the things I think we got to clean up from Saturday is still our penalties. We had 10 penalties. And just foolish stuff, pre-snap, post-snap penalties. Our tackling still not great. I think we got to do a better job getting our feet to contact, keeping our eyes up, and then running the football. I think that's the big one offensively. I know we had, a bunch of yards offensively running the football, but to me, most of those were later in the game. We got to do a better job early in the game. And some of that is too. Now, Caden was, spitting the ball out, taking, what the defense gave him, but we got to make sure we can move people off the ball. Defensively, we had them backed up inside the 10-yard line and let them go on a 19-play drive. I think there was a couple third downs in there. We let them off the hook. Anytime we got an opponent backed up inside the 10-yard line, that's an opportunity for us to get a 3-and-out and get the ball back to our offense, which equals points. Anytime you can get the ball back to your offense on your side of the 50, you should get points out of that. And we let them off the hook down there. And then a couple third downs. I think missed a tackle on a third down, had a kid in the flat, and just didn't play well. I thought we had a few penalties on that that led to the field goal. So we got to do a better job on that drive, all in all. So those are things we got to clean up and just continue to every single day come to work with urgency, intent, and go at it.
So down by the sea, it'll be the Pirates and Coastal.
It's not just by the sea. They got you got Myrtle Beach.
No, it's not quite. Everybody says, "Oh, it's in Myrtle Beach." Well, no, not really.
No, you still got to drive in a little ways on 544 to get to Myrtle Beach.
It's like saying when you get to Holly Ridge here at the Working Man's Bay, oh, we're at Surf City. Well, no, you're not. You still got to drive in a little bit. Yeah. There's water, but it's not, water.
Yeah, there's water in Greenville, too.
That is true. There is water in Greenville, too. Pilk, I think this, I feel like if you can get out tomorrow to a good start, and even if you don't, I don't think Coastal has shown enough offensively to date that if you're on top of things in your East Carolina, you should be in a position to be able to, if you can get out, get a lead, you should be okay. In other words, I'm not so sure Coastal's going to necessarily prevent East Carolina from scoring a lot of points. And so I think that you can score enough points to win the game, even if your defense has some issues. But I just think Coastal is so anemic offensively they've got the issues.
No, I'm with you there, but I think that's where it kind of falls on our offense, right? Don't give an anemic offense a short field, right? Punts are not going to be bad things in this football game. Yeah, you don't want to get in a habit of going 3 and out. You don't want to be in some low-scoring defensive slugfest. But if the play is, hey, just fall down and take the sack or chuck the ball into the fourth row as opposed on third down, as opposed to trying to put it in a tight window, where it could give them the ball on the plus 25-yard line. Those are just things you can't do. This is a team, like you said, they've looked anemic offensively. It's been stagnant. They couldn't even really finish drives last week against.
Well, and they turned the ball over.
Yeah, and they turned the ball over. I mean, in turnover differential, they're 130th out of 136.
Yeah.
So don't let that script flip. Because the minute you let that script flip, that gives the team that you're better than the upper hand.
I think Hauser's done a really nice job of taking care of the football and being mindful in his decisions to take care of the football. I look for
turnover-worthy plays.
Yeah, I think Caton has a big day tomorrow night. Just me. It's just my thought on the thing. Also, I saw where there were still some tickets. I know the Pirates sold out their allotment, but I guess there were still some tickets available.
Are they resale tickets, or are they actual, you can buy them?
I don't know. I thought I saw where there were some. I thought I read where there were some, maybe some top of the section tickets available at Coastal.
Get down there. You get your free dinner, free soda.
That's the thing. Concessions are free.
Number two.
Number two. It was announced late yesterday afternoon the schedule for the Fort Myers tip-off that features East Carolina St. Bonaventure, Michigan State, and North Carolina. The Pirates will play. Sorry, I did not have it pulled up. I thought I was on the right Twitter page to have it pulled up. They're going to play Tuesday at, I believe, here it is, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. That game will be on FS2. Also can be heard here on 94.3 The Game, 107.9. And then on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day on FS1 at noon against the Bonnies of St. Bonaventure. So, dual screening it with the Lions and whoever they're playing, and the Pirates and the Bonnies.
So, a couple of things on this. One, obviously this event is, of all of the MTE events that ECU has been involved in the MTE, modern-day MTE era, obviously this is the most high-profile. Yeah. And I think you'll start to see a lot more of these 4 teams rather than a 3-game or 3-game guaranteed kind of event with 8 teams or whatever it is, or 4 teams or 16 teams or whatever the number is. So I do like this. I know Michigan State and North Carolina in one of their games are going to actually be playing on Big Fox on the actual over-the-air Fox.
4:30 on Thanksgiving afternoon, so they will follow the Lions game. Yeah. It'll be on Fox at noon.
So that's good programming and smart programming by Fox to do that. But look, FS2, FS1, I mean, that's still, that's national cable outlay. And I think Fox does a pretty good job with their basketball telecast. I don't really, Fox seems to really, really have the insight that ESPN once upon a time had in connection to the game, but present it in a network fashion. Obviously, they're a network. So I think Fox does a wonderful job with their basketball production.
I really enjoy Big East basketball on Fox. I think it's done very well. Now, part of that, why I think they're so insightful is it's one of the few conferences they have, right?
Sure.
And so the analysts are very tied in with the 16 teams that are in the league. So I think that's got a little bit to do with it. But I just think, man, they don't try and overdo things. They seem very raw, very natural. I think.
Well, and they're also the same group that does
this and just talking about that and off topic.
They're also the same group that does Big East. The Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
And, they do a fantastic job with that, to be honest with you. I mean, that's, now, the drawback to the Big Ten is you have to watch Big Ten teams play. It's the drawback to the Big Ten network.
Oh, you got Michigan and Michigan State in there. Other than that, yeah.
Well, I mean, even
Wisconsin once every 5 years.
Just plotting. Everything they do seems like it's plotting and slow and should be on a black and white television set. But the production's really good. The production is really good.
3.
All right, number 3. What we got, Bill?
Number 3, last night, East Carolina women's soccer got their first conference victory in their first conference game, 2-0 over the Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
As we said, you needed to, if you're going to be a team that's worthy of a first place vote or top of the league consideration, you have to beat a team like Tulsa at home. And so they got off to a good start in soccer. That's essentially a blowout, as far as I'm concerned. So I take it as that's a great victory. You did what you needed to do, and now you move forward with whatever you got next. When do they play again, Pilk? Do we know this
Sunday,
off the top
I'm sure, but
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see when they play again. But look, that's a good start. Got to win at home. Hopefully some people showed up. The weather was really nice from a temperature standpoint.
Last night.
Really good.
On next Thursday, so they got the weekend off.
Okay.
They
got the
travel
weekend
down
off?
to Tampa to take on the Bulls, South Florida.
So there you go. That's where things start to get a little tougher.
Yeah, a little bit.
So little more challenging. So yeah, off to a good start. A win is a win. You got some time off to get ready for it. So go Pirates as far as that goes. All right, let's see.
4-4-4.
Well, earlier in the week we told you about George Kittle going on the IR.
And just yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Yeah. And yesterday, we didn't have the show. I think it happened about at the time of our show. We found out Brock Purdy will miss 2 to 5 weeks as the 49ers travel to Nolans this weekend. They will have to start Mac Jones.
Shouldn't have a problem. I mean, the game probably will not be will probably be tight again, much like New Orleans game was with the Cards. I don't know how good the Cardinals are necessarily. And I'll say this, I think Kellen Moore will end up being a competent NFL coach. He doesn't seem like a dummy. He
needs a competent quarterback to make him
he does.
A competent coach.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, they had a nice game plan in dealing with, a pretty good defensive Arizona team. The other thing that I will say is when we talked about this Wednesday, we said, okay, you can maybe get by without Kittles. It's not ideal, but you don't want to have CMC not at 100%. You can't have Williams at left tackle because their record without him is unbelievably bad. Maybe you could get by without Purdy. Maybe. And then he gets hurt. So we're going to find out if they're going to be able to get by without Purdy.
Real quick,
Mac Jones does not inspire a ton of confidence. But also, haven't the fans in San Francisco have been saying for years, we need a quarterback, and Purdy is not the guy? Or he's not all-inspiring?
Yeah.
So now you're going to find out.
It changes like week in and week out. So here's the thing.
You're going to find out, yo.
Yeah, so you got New Orleans on the road, Arizona at home, Jacksonville at home, and then if he misses the full amount of time at the Rams, at the Bucs. So I'm thinking you might be losing those with Purdy, just because they're 2 tough road trips. So
yeah, I think the next week or two, and maybe even if it goes out through Jacksonville, because the Jacksonville game's in San Francisco, correct?
Yes,
or wherever the hell they play their games out in the yeah. I think that all of that part's manageable. If he's out beyond that, then it gets a little. But you're right; they may lose some of those games without him.
Yeah,
they could lose Arizona even if they had him. I mean,
yeah, they
could lose Arizona very easily if they had him. So it's not ideal, right?
Nope.
Yeah. I see. I just saw the rest of what you wrote me, or what you initially wrote me before you told me you were on. Is that the scientific term? All right, number 5 with
5.
I'm going to say if he was doing what you were saying he was doing, you would not be able to breathe in there right now. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, we got to go a little quick with this, and we got to get to Brian North. But the Carolina Panthers have dismissed a staff member due to their post on social media apparently employee. Sorry, I thought I could just click on the thing and it would pop right up, and it did not. Charlie Rock has been dismissed from the team due to a non-colorful post, I guess we should say, non-appropriate post.
Let's just say what he did.
Death.
He posted something like a lot of people who are opposing to Charlie Kirk's political views posted. Now, this was not an egregious celebration, but it was an inappropriate. The tone was not appropriate, given the timing of it. And then, I just don't understand this. Where have we reached that I need to know what the media flack with the Panthers thinks about this?
Yeah.
Where have we reached that I need to know where the community college professor in Greensboro, what her thoughts are on one of the drawbacks of this era is social media has given everybody the opportunity to think that their opinion is one that must be put out for all to see or to consume. And it's just not the case.
Well, and also I think this is just serves to remind people, yes, we are in a freedom of speech country, but there's a line. You can be in trouble.
There's still consequences. You just can't say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that guy believes that, don't knee-jerk. Come up with a thoughtful argument.
Yeah.
And just give it. I don't know. But I mean, hey, good on the Panthers. Need to fire their quarterback. All right, we are we'll be back. Brian North returning to the PJ Show. It's to get you to the weekend edition.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get started.
Deep breath. Here we go.
Here we go, and it is the time of year. It's been too long, in fact. But the time of year where all of these high school football games start to get really interesting. And one of the guys who covers the ENC sports scene like no one else is our dear friend from the Blitz and WCTI and Fox in Eastern North Carolina, the one, the only, Brian North, back on the Patrick Johnson Show. A triumphant return. And he looks like he's ready for happy hour. So
yes, well, I feel like it. Yes, sir. It's glad my probation is over, and I'm happy to be back on the show with you.
What probation? What is this nonsense? There's no probation.
I don't know. I haven't been out in a while. Figured I was on double secret probation or something. So.
You haven't. Well, we had Luke on a couple times, and we would try. Now that you get up at the wee hours of the morning, we're trying to give you and have the TNT terrorist twins. I don't want to give you like a. I don't want to impose, but you can come on anytime you want.
No. You call, I will answer, my friend.
Well, it's good to talk to you. We've got IBX media stations covering what looked like on paper just a great game a month or two ago, and that was Rose at Havelock, and now they have one win between them. We'll have the game on 94.1 down in New Bern with Trevor Donnell. And is it Webster, the quarterback? He's on the call, I think, with Trevor. Danny Webster. Really? Yeah. How about that? Yes. Oh. He's the analyst. And then on the 94.3 The Game for the Greenville audience, the plucky upstart known as Patrick Johnson and Stephen Walter will be on as the analyst of that, Coach Walter. So there you go. Two Kinston guys calling J.H. Rose ball. So that's the deal there. See? All this stuff, North. You're learning so much here today. This is what happens when you stay there in New Bern and don't venture into Greenville grounds, but every so often.
I understand.
How many years? 28?
I just completed my 27th full year. This is my 28th year of covering high school football on ECU. But September 7th was 27 years since walking through the door. Today is actually, when I appeared on the air. It was September 11th, 1998 is when I appeared on the air for the first time.
Wow. And then 3 years later, everything went haywire on that day, 24 years ago.
Then I quit mentioning that September 11th was my anniversary. Yes.
Yes, that was probably wise to have done that at that point. Yes. All right. Well, so Rose and Havelock tonight. So I talked to Brent Wooten earlier in the week, and he was telling me, we got a lot of sophomores. We lost a lot of talent. We're going to be fine, but we just are trying to figure it out as we go. And look, I don't care who you are. It's a cyclical thing, these high school athletic cycles, and obviously 0-3 is not great, but Havelock's had such a run, and they have the bones to continue to have a good run. It's just sometimes you're a little youthful on that football roster.
They've had a ton of talent. Yes, offensively, they lost a lot. Now, you also have to consider that the three teams they played are 8-1 overall, and the one loss was to each other, with New Bern beating West Craven last week. But all those three teams that Havelock has played have been no joke. So we're still trying to figure out how good or bad Havelock is. And once they get into conference, we think they'll be okay. We know they're offensively challenged a little bit, but defensively, they're really good. They got Chris Bispham, who's headed to the Mighty Dukes of JMU. And so they've got a freshman running back who's pretty good. They've got a sophomore quarterback who I've been told is a great linebacker, but he's still trying to figure out the quarterback position a little bit. And so, look, they got a great coaching staff there. And again, they have played three really good teams so far. And so Tarboro looks great again, probably contend for another state title. West Craven looks really good. New Bern looks really good. We're going to find out more about the Bears when they play Cleveland and then Huff next week to kind of figure out where they are in the state. But in Eastern North Carolina, those are three of the best. So Havelock shouldn't be hanging its head, but they're not used to this now. It's been a long time. What was it, 2007, since they were like 0-3 or 0-5 or something? It's been quite a while. So I'm curious how Coach Wooten handles the kids and how the kids handle a not winning for a while until they get into conference play.
We'll get into Rose in a minute. Again, we got the game tonight on 94.3, the game Rose at Havelock, and we've got the Havelock feed on 94.1. You can listen to both feeds on the IBX Media app, which you should download, North. So when you're driving around Eastern North Carolina, you can pick up the game. So just
I'm old school radio guy. I still pick up on the FM.
All right, well, good. You should do that too. But I'm just saying, if you wanted to monitor something while you're out of the car on the sideline there, if you're keeping up late season in a big game, just download the app there. It's very simple. It's a very, very, very easy to navigate app. I've talked so much and BS so much, I don't know what I was going to say there about Havelock. I had a Havelock question. Damn, it was a good Havelock. Oh, the coaching situation. Alan Wooten wanted to kind of move away, spend more time with his family, obviously still work at the school and be on staff. And then the Caleb King thing happened. And then I guess the school board vetoed that. And then all of a sudden, Brent Wooten is the head coach. So it seems like they've maybe worked something out that is amiable to all parties. But, what exactly is going on down there in Craven County?
So the latest on that is they've kept the coaching staff stable. Brent is back as head coach. Again, Caleb King's the offensive coordinator. Alan Wooten has settled into defense. He wanted to spend more time with his son in Winterville, so he was making that commute a lot. And so right now it seems like it's worked out pretty well. Now, the coaches have ambitions. Do other coaches want to be head coaches somewhere? We have to wait and see. But, you've also got Bob Sabdo, who's been an assistant coach forever, Coach Frazier, who's been there forever. So you got guys who've been there a long time. But right now it seems to be they all know their roles. Caleb King gets to call the offense, which is what he wanted to do up until this year. I don't know how much fun he's having this year, but teaching those guys. But no, they're all like professional, and they seem to work so well together. Now, the Craven County School Board has had a major turnover since all these problems have shown up with principals and grade changing and illegal players and telling coaches they can't be coaches. The school board has turned over. I think there's 5 new members now. And so they're new this year. So we're still kind of waiting to see how all that plays out when it comes to high school sports. But they had the issue with the end of the West Craven New Bern game the other night where the coaches did not get along well in the handshake line. And so they're all kind of dealing with that right now. But the Havelock situation seems to be they're good for this year. Brent seems to embrace being the head coach. He stays out of the way of his brother and out of the way of Caleb King and lets them do their job, and he just kind of is the CEO, and it's worked up until this year.
The great Brian North from the Blitz tonight. When do you start? Is it 11:15 or do you start at 11:10? When does the show begin tonight on News Channel 12? Uh-oh, we dropped North. What happened?
Longer commercial breaks, but we want to get in the same sort of time. They pushed us earlier, so I say we start anywhere between 11:05 and 11:10. We just started saying tune in at 11 and watch our news, and it won't be long, and then we'll be on with the Blitz right after that.
I know they'll do a couple major news stories. You'll do a forecast, and then on to the Blitz.
On the Blitz, let's go. And so, now we're doing, trying to utilize the YouTube, and so any highlights we don't get to, we will throw those on extra, what we call the Blitz Extra, and we go for as long as we want and post it on YouTube Saturday morning. So we have a rebroadcast of the Blitz at 7:30. The YouTube version comes on at 8 a.m. Online, so you can get even more highlights there.
Okay. Let's see here. Brian North with us. You mentioned the goings down in the handshake line. Wes Craven's at Farmville, who got a big win last week, the Jaguars against Conley. And then it is New Bern hosting Cleveland. Both teams are 3-0 tonight. Now, I have had one of my New Bern spies, my Craven County spies, I'll give you 3 guesses who it is, and the first 2 don't count, telling me that both coaches will not be the head coach in this game. Is that true, Brian North?
So no one will confirm that on the record. They are calling it a personnel issue as the public information officer. They did release a statement saying that all for the start of the season, and that they meet that code of conduct after that game. Now, they did not mention anything about suspensions. I've heard the rumors out there myself, but we'll find out when we show up and see who's on the sidelines Friday. But I think there's probably a possibility you may not see the head coaches there. I know they were called in to talk to the acting superintendent Monday or Tuesday. And so we're gonna find out, but I won't be surprised if they are not coaching on the sidelines on Friday night. Let me just say that.
Brian North with us here. All right, I got some other games I want to ask you about. Well, let's go back to Rose Havelock. Rose, I didn't see him last week. I was doing TV for your parent company up in the Triangle, so I had a game up there. But I've gone back and watched a few clips. And, I think the thing with Rose is they are a little unsettled at the quarterback. Young, got some talent, but they're young. And they're also banged up right now. Not knowing how many guys exactly are going to be available tonight. They also had their own little incident with Laney that has landed them without a defensive player or 2 up front. So how do you see this coming out tonight? Again, this is a combined 1-5 record for 2 teams that everybody was talking about in their respective classifications were going to contend for a state title.
Right. So Havelock's going to bring the defense, and Rose, I think, is decent offensively. It's going to come down to whether Havelock can score some points at all. And again, the 3 teams they faced have been really great defenses. So everybody wants to say how bad Havelock's offense is, but it's tough when you're playing teams that are as good defensively as Tarboro, New Bern, and West Craven. So Rose, I don't think is quite as good defensively. So if Havelock can score some points, I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think this is going to be a Rose blowout or a Havelock blowout by any means. So I can see a lower scoring a game. Now, if Rose can put some points on the board, I don't think Havelock can score more than 20. So I think first 1 to 20 probably wins this game, but I still think it's going to be a competitive game just based on, look, Will Bland's returning to where he used to play football. I was having memories with 9/11, and Will was the junior quarterback, I believe, at Havelock at the time. And when high school football, that was the first thing to play in the country after 9/11. And so Will's returning to his old stomping grounds of Havelock. He would love to go back there and get a win, but it's always a tough place to play now. So I'd have to go back and look and see the last time Havelock lost 3 home games in a year. So, but I think it'll be close. And I just think the first team that can get to 20 points probably wins the game.
Brian North with us here. Couple of other things I wanted to ask you about, Pitt County related. South Central's 3-0, and they're taking on our buddy Steve Brooks, Laney down north of Wilmington. tonight. And of course, Laney came to Greenville last week and beat Rose by a couple of scores. So is South Central, under the new head coach, able to move to 4-0 tonight?
They have a really good chance. Now, they got that long bus trip, and they have not been on a very long bus trip. Playing at North Pitt last week was their first away game, and that's not a very long bus trip at all. So handling that with the legs will be interesting. Laney's feeling good coming off that first win. They get to stay at home, which will be nice for them. So I think they match up well. I think it's a close game. I think it's all going to depend on how Coach Bowie and the Falcons handle getting off that bus and whether they're ready to go from the start, because, Bucktown is a tough place to play. And again, Laney's feeling good about themselves right now. But I think that's going to be a fourth quarter game, but I think South Central has a chance, and they want to stack some wins now because their schedule is going to start getting really tough here when they have Northern Nash, and then they get into conference play after that.
North Pitt at 3-0 Green Central. So the Rams of Snow Hill undefeated. How good are they?
We're trying to figure that out as well because they beat a North Lenoir team that only has one win and is down this year. They beat a Goldsboro team that's horrible. And so, and then last week they had another relatively easy win. So, but they have talent. They got the Vanderford kid wears number 1. He's really good. They got Deuce, which is Jay Wilson's son, who's getting some offers from some Division II and 1AA schools. So they have some talent. It's hard to tell with the schedule they played so far how good they really are. But I think we start to find that out a little bit tonight because that is a step up in weight class. But I think they're good. I think they're kind of, they wanted to be a sleeper. Them and Farmville wanted to be a sleeper in their conferences. So, but both are starting to get a little bit of attention. But I think Green Central's got, I think they have the ability. I just don't know if they'll be upper echelon in their conference. That's going to be interesting to see when they play those top teams. But they're beating who they're supposed to, and they're taking care of business pretty easily.
We had Ron Cook on last week. We mentioned West Craven. They'll likely be without somebody tonight when they play at Farmville. And the Jags take it on West Craven. That seems like a pretty tough challenge for Farmville.
Yeah. So I think it's, as talking with Mike Twitchell the other day now, West Craven messes around, Farmville will beat them. Farmville's pretty decent, and they've got a pretty good defensive line, and so they've got a good quarterback, and they're good. Now, if West Craven plays to its ability, I think, West Craven should be the favorite in that game and can go in there and win. But Farmville is good enough now where they can go and knock some teams off, like a West Craven, if West Craven's not in their A game. So with the coaching turmoil going on this week, and is West Craven distracted? How does West Craven react coming off that first loss and losing to your rivals at New Bern and now going on the road? There's cause for concern in the greater Chip-Vanceboro area as to how West Craven is going to do against Farmville Central.
Does anybody beat Tarboro in the regular season or the playoffs till they get to the finals?
So they're in that new conference now, and Kinston's in that conference. And Kinston, although they had that loss to start the year against South Central, surprised a lot of people. They're good now. They got 2 Division I players at wide receiver, a pretty good quarterback, a really good running back who came out of nowhere for them, was a basketball guy, never played football, but now he's a pretty good running back, a dynamic returner. Kinston's got some talent. And the last team to beat Tarboro in a conference game. Tarboro has not lost a conference game since, I believe, 2011, which is a ridiculous stat. But that was to Kinston in double overtime. So now they're back in that same league with them. And so it's not the walkover league it used to be. I'm still not sure anybody can beat them, but it's not going to be the running clock by second quarter every game like they've had the last few years.
Conley travels to Garner, and I would think a lot like South Central. It's how you handle that bus trip going to, obviously, Wake County from Pitt County tonight.
Conley went to Elizabeth City and picked up a big road win. That was the eye-opener of the early season. We were like, oh, okay. But then, they struggle and lose at Farmville. So they've got a good quarterback. They've got some talent. It's just when they face teams with really big defensive lines, they're going to struggle because their offensive line isn't that good. And I don't know what Garner has, but you're talking a triangle school that's had a lot of success historically. So it's a tough litmus test for them, but it's a good one. I think it'll give us a better indication. I think that losing to Farmville kind of threw a lot of people off because I think after that win at Northeastern, we all thought, okay, Conley looks like they're back. They're taking another step up, but maybe dealing with success was not their forte this last week. So now this Garner game is one we're really keeping an eye on to just kind of see, all right, is this the Conley of the last couple of years, or was that just a blip on the radar last week and they've had to learn how to win again and they perform better?
In this day and time, you know more about my high school alma mater than I do. I've been jettisoned from the academy, as you know, and so I have to ask you. They beat East Carteret last week and did it on a last-second 2-point conversion, and that was pretty exciting. I'll be the first to admit that. That's pretty interesting that they went to Beaufort and won. So let me ask you this. They are playing Faith Christian tonight. Both are 4-0.
Yes.
Are my APA Patriots, if I choose to put them back in my life, are they legitimate?
Yes. They're really good. They went and beat Evangel Christian to start the year in Gatlinburg, and Evangel Christian had a 38-game winning streak in the nation. They're out of, I think, Mississippi, Alabama.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they've got some a transfer from North Lenore, good running back. No, I think they're pretty good. So, yes, bring them back into your fold. Matt Beeman's got them playing at a high level, whether it's 8-man or 11-man.
How about JP2? I know they've got a loss. They should win tonight at Lawrence, but how good is JP2?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. They've had some interesting road games. We haven't seen them a lot in person with our own eyeballs. They played some teams that they're supposed to beat, and so we're trying to figure that out. But look, Sean Murphy does a great job there. He's built that program really fast. They've got nice facilities, and so I think they've got to be a contender. They play Parrott last game of the regular season, I believe. I looked that up the other day, so that's become quite the rivalry in the state. So, but until they play that, Faith Christian's pretty good. Well, that they're in the mix here, but I think JP2 is good. We're just trying to figure out if they're Parrott good.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you like 8 classifications?
It's like it used to be with subclassifications. So I'm not in love with it. I think this state is more suited for like 6 than 8.
Right.
But, the population's grown so much. We're the 9th largest state in the country. So I guess we probably should have 8. But I think going from 4 to 8, it's been so weird, right? You have 4, you subclassify for 20 years, then you decide to go back to 4 for some reason, and then you go back to 8, but now it's in every sport. So I've never been a fan of how the NCHSAA does things. It just kind of seems like they're throwing stuff against the wall. Sometimes I just don't know if things are well thought out. I came from Virginia 27 years ago, and the VHSL, the Virginia High School League, had 3 full-time members, and they operated so smooth. They had a playoff point system that made so much sense. And then I come here, and there was this antiquated system of predetermining who in your conference goes to the playoffs before you've played a game. Right. And then I can also remember that if you were an 8th seed and you beat the 1 seed, you took over the 1 seed. I'd never heard of such a thing before. So there were some antiquated things here. And so I kind of just always feel like the NCHSAA, with all the people that they have working for them and all the things that their resources, I've always been kind of disappointed they're not more out front of these things and getting ahead instead of being more reactionary.
I meant to ask you this. What do you think of Chris Cherry going to JP2 to coach hoops?
Yeah, it's what a lot of these guys do. They work in the public sector till they reach retirement, and then they get to go where they want to go, do what they want to do. Sometimes it's a money chase. Sometimes it's a position thing. Sometimes it's a time thing. And so for Chris Cherry, I think it's, he wanted the football challenge. He got it. I think he had some other aspirations that probably.
I think we lost Brian.
All right, we may have lost North there, so we'll recalibrate.
Oh, he's
Wait
back.
a minute. There he is. He's back with us. Who's calling? Hey, tell the guys at the other station you're on the A team. You're on the varsity squad tonight. Tell them to quit calling you. Oh.
It's wifey,
right,
so I might be in the doghouse here.
You were going to be in the dog, and I'm just talking and having you talk about stuff and pontificate and all of this. Oh, my God. Do you still like doing news? You like?
Yes.
I think you do a great job in the morning. I don't know if you would work at night, but that newscast in the morning seems totally driven by you.
Yeah, it fits more my personality, but it's been good. It's fit the family life with the kids and stuff. So yeah, that's been great. I have enjoyed it. I have not missed Nightside. I mean, you miss going to the games and talking to people and seeing people, but I still get the football fix. And I've enjoyed the change, the slight change in my life, and definitely a change in the schedule. It's right fit, right time for me.
But you will still go to maybe a basketball game on a Friday, or not really?
Occasionally, maybe some emergency situations. I'm known to come out of retirement every now and then, once or twice a year, yeah.
But football, you're on the Blitz every
Friday.
Football,
we're there every Friday night.
All right, tune in tonight at 11 o'clock. Brian, hopefully his wife will make him not sleep on the couch tonight after the Blitz. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Brian, very much. Great to talk to you, as it always is.
You too, man.
All right, there he goes, the great Brian North from the Blitz with us. It is the Patrick Johnson Show that gets you to the weekend edition, Football Friday edition. We got Rose coming your way tonight from Havelock, and we will have more after we come back after these words.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
What a day here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Coming up this evening, it is Rose football as they take on Havelock on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app. Rampants on Radio, presented by Kimbrell's Home Furnishings and the law office of C. Scott Kirk. Myself and Stephen Walter on the call from Wilbur Sasser Stadium. And then tomorrow, myself and Joey Football will be bringing you Pirate Game Day Countdown at 4 o'clock ahead of East Carolina and Coastal Carolina, the fastest 2.5 hours in radio. Thanks to Brian North. Thanks to Pilk. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe and go Pirates.